Beyond bent, Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises. It just had to be. Dax corner and it goes. Glance towards goal, and Rovers have taken the lead. And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season.
Hello Rovers fans and welcome to another edition of On the Other Side, live with me Ryan Hildred from Rovers Chat. And Rovers recorded their first away win since August on Saturday, an impressive first half display in particular at Derby County. But next up we do welcome goal-hungry Fulham to Ewood Park as Rovers get the chance to show any promotion credentials against the informed Cottagers. And to help us get the lowdown on Fulham, I'm delighted to be joined by Dylan from the Fulham Focus podcast. How are you tonight, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. Even better after Saturday's results, to be fair. I saw you on as well, so it's a clash of two informed teams, really, on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one. We have lost only the one at home this season, and that was to West Brom, who are right up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how we fare against you guys. So we will see, and we'll get stuck into that very shortly. Rovers fans watching, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please, of course, hit that subscribe button. Please turn on all notifications using that bell icon. And please give this video a big like for us. Super Chat's available, as it always is. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Blue Rose Capital and 6yardsout.com for their ongoing and very kind sponsorship of our channel. So, Dylan, let's make a start on the preview then. A recent effect of Premier League money that we've seen is sides being promoted and relegated between the Premier League and Championship, probably a little bit more. We've seen Watford bounce back at the first attempt last season. Norwich are back in there after yo-yoing, and Fulham have had 2 relegations and 2 promotions in the last 4 seasons. You're also looking strong for another promotion this season. So it's probably a trend that we're likely to see continue, unfortunately, for the Championship. So what's the view in your fan base about being one of those sides that is perhaps too good for the Championship, but maybe not good enough for the Premier League? How does that sit with you?
Well, I think you just got to take the good with the bad sort of thing. I mean, we know that when we go up to the Premier League, we're going to face tough opposition, and well, more often than not, recently we've come off a lot worse for that. But in the Championship, we seem to do well. I mean, the gulf in budget is obviously one thing that helps us massively. In the Championship, obviously, this summer we signed Harry Wilson for £12 million. And I think there were sort of like 10, 11 clubs who didn't even spend £12 million combined. So obviously that plays into our hands a bit. Sort of not much we can obviously do about that as fans. But in the Premier League, it is just sort of a massive step up, I'd say, in terms of quality. And the opposition haven't been helped by sort of last season. We had like a flooding of loan signings, if you will. So it was 7-8 players who came into the team, and it was a very disjointed unit, even though sort of the individuals were great characters and good players that you'd want to have in a team. It just never really clicked for us. And the season before that, I think it's well documented, we spent a stupid amount of money, and the experiment just sort of crashed in front of our eyes, really. I mean, it was horrendous watching that first season we came back up. I mean, I remember sort of losing 4-1 away to Watford when we got relegated, and a number of other horrendous results. But in the Championship, we do tend to fare a bit better. But I'd say that's probably down just to the fact that we've sort of got that luxury of being able to afford the players, providing they want to come, that is.
Yeah, that's right. And, the teams are unfortunately coming down and getting relegated and looking really strong. It's been a recent trend, I'd say. The last 3 or 4 seasons, it has felt like there's a bit of a gulf. But it's obviously not all plain sailing to bounce straight back. Teams don't do it all the time. Rovers struggled to do that, of course, when we were relegated. We've seen a number of teams stuck at this level for a number of years. You still need the right squad and the right manager. So coming into this season, all 3 relegated sides, you were all in the market for a new manager. You've obviously opted for Marco Silva. He's had an interesting career, I'd say. He nearly kept Hull in the Premier League and seemed to get this reputation out of nearly keeping them in the Premier League after they had a bad start to the season, but obviously not so successful at Watford and Everton after that. So what is the view on Silva and the job he's done so far at Fulham?
I think it was a sort of mixed reaction when he first came in. I was sort of willing for anyone other than Scott Parker, to be honest with you. I've been really pleased with the job he's done so far. He's got us playing some nice attacking football, which makes a nice change from the past few seasons. Obviously, other managers we were linked with were Chris Wilder, who was at Sheffield United. Steve Cooper was another name, who he actually looked like he was going to sign, but then for whatever reason, it was Marco Silva, and I'm glad it was, to be honest with you. I mean, we just played Nottingham Forest the other week with Cooper in charge and went there and won 4-0. So I guess I'm glad that we avoided him. But no, he's been really good. It has taken me by surprise just how good we've been. I mean, we're second in the table, I think 32 points from 15 games. Alexander Mitrovic got 18 goals. So it's wonderful stuff. And I just hope it can continue for the foreseeable.
Yeah, certainly some impressive stats, which I'll come on to in a moment. But I just want to focus on 3 players, if I can, who are in the Fulham squad, who used to play for Rovers before joining you. And they all left really good impressions at Rovers, actually. Harrison Reed and Tosin Adarabioyo, we had them on loan before you signed them permanently. And then Tom Kearney, who surprisingly left us when he did to go and join Fulham. Tosin, I know, is suspended for the match on Wednesday, and Kearney is just returning from the long-term injury. But can you just talk to us about those 3 and how important they are for your hopes this season? And beyond that, maybe, staying in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, of course. Tosin, I start with him. We signed him last summer from Manchester City. It was a slightly nominal fee, given how good he's been for us. He looks a very cool, calm and assured presence alongside Tim Ream. I mean, that's who he usually partners at the back for us, but he's quite young, but he plays with sort of, I think, experience above his age is the phrase. He's a cool, calm and collected. Hasn't actually scored for us yet, but I'm sure that's coming. Obviously, suspended for the game on Wednesday. That was a silly challenge, but it's the sort of thing that he'll learn to avoid or not do, and that comes with experience. But he's been really, really great for us. Harrison Reed, absolute workhorse in midfield. I mean, he just seems to have sort of limitless energy. He's really, really good to watch. When he first came in, he sort of struggled to settle into the side, but he's really, really found his home recently. He's struggled with a few injuries, but he seems to be getting back to his best. And we're a better side with him in it, that's for sure. And as for Tom Kearney, he's had a really rough time with it over the last few years. I mean, he started his first game. He played against Cardiff the Wednesday before last. That was his first game for us since Newcastle in December 2020. And then he made his first start away to Forest last week. But he's someone who I still consider to be like really influential. I mean, he's obviously our captain, and obviously due to the amount he hasn't been playing and he's missed a lot of games, people have been calling for sort of a permanent change in captaincy. But I think in terms of the example he sets off the pitch and on the pitch, he's still the right leader. And obviously he scored a very important goal for us at Wembley to take us up the first time, and he captained the second promotion side. And there's not many players in world football who captain their side to promotion at Wembley twice. So I still think he's as vital as ever, and he will obviously be important as the season goes on, and hopefully well into the future. I mean, I'd like to see him stay on. I think he's a fantastic player. He's got a magical left foot.
Absolutely, and he did score against us when we played at Craven Cottage a couple of seasons ago. Scored an absolute worldie.
He scored about 5 of those goals in as many weeks. It was bonkers. But yeah, he knows where the top corner is.
That's right. And 3 players which, Rovers fans do remember really fondly. And Kearney was the one that hurt us because it was a signing that just came out of nowhere. There was no rumours. And then bang, he's gone to Fulham. So it was a disappointing one for us. And I don't think we've ever really replaced him in our centre midfield, actually, since he's gone. Perhaps we might have done this season with what we've just landed on with some of the players we've got. But there's been a gap there ever since he left, most certainly. Just before we move on to the other questions, Dylan, just a couple of comments we've had. Steve, this was my first ever Rovers game back in 1978. Oh, gosh, Steve. I was not even a twinkle in anyone's eye at that point in 1978. So that is a long time ago, isn't it? And Andres, I hope I pronounced that right. Yo, just another Chilean passing by. So there we go. And then, Steve just following up. We only sold Kearney due to financial fair play. Yeah, fair point, Steve. It was one that obviously came out of nowhere to balance those books. So, Dylan, let's get back onto Fulham so far this season. Then you've touched on some of the stats already. A really impressive start. In the top 2. And attacking wise, just hugely impressive numbers. You've got 36 goals this season, which is 10 more than Bournemouth, and they're second with 26. Rovers, incidentally, joint third on 25. So we've been finding the net a little bit as well. But then your shots per game, you've got the league most with 16.6, fourth highest possession with 57%, second with 83% passing accuracy. So you are a side that looks extremely dominant on the ball, lethal in front of goal. You've obviously been here before, punching in that automatic promotion spot. So how does this Fulham side compare to other sides? And, how impressed have you been with what you've seen so far?
Well, I think compared to Scott Parker's last side that got us promoted, I think it's a more ruthless attacking unit. It's definitely less of the ball. I mean, it's still preferably more than the opposition. He wants to keep the ball, but we seem to be doing more with the ball and we've got it, rather than just sort of passing around the edge of the penalty area, waiting for sort of an opportunity to present itself. We've obviously signed Harry Wilson this summer. He's been a great attacking addition, as well as Fabio Carvalho. He's come up from the academy just last season, and he's provided a completely different outlet for us when he's been fit. I mean, he's just something completely different. So that's another option that we have now that wasn't available to us in the last couple of seasons. But it seems to be just a really sort of free-flowing unit, and we can sort of score goals at will. I know the first few games of the season we drew to Middlesbrough 1-1. That was just a brilliant attacking performance. And then Millwall away, the third game of the season, that was a 2-1 win, but we scored twice within the opening 8 minutes or something like that. And it was just sort of, then you got the impression that we could really sort of do what we wanted to teams, and we knew how to hurt them. They seemed really well drilled, this unit, and it's good to see. Obviously, Scott Parker, he got us up, but the football was a bit more conservative and sort of emphasis on protecting leads rather than continually trying to hurt teams once they're already down. And I sort of prefer Silva's outlook. But it remains to be seen whether it will take us up automatically. But I'm confident that hopefully something good will come. I mean, the signs are very positive after all.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are scary in many respects. Bournemouth top of the table, and you've got 10 more goals than them. So, that is impressive numbers that you run in there. And, one man who is central to that is Alexander Mitrovic. The 18 goals that you said earlier, that he's already got this season, and leading our man, Brereton Diaz, in second place on 12 goals. But, Mitrovic is comfortably your top scorer, and he's just looking absolutely deadly. Some of the highlights I've seen, some of the finishes he's pulling off, are just clinical, aren't they? He has struggled in the Premier League when he's been there, and he's perhaps falling into that category of strikers who we have seen before that are too good for the Championship but not quite good enough for the Premier League. So what stood out for you this season with Mitrovic, and where do Rovers really need to watch out on Wednesday night? Oh, we lost him. Hopefully Dylan will be back. So I will go into the comments whilst we try and get Dylan back. So let's have a look. Steve, looks like any two from Fulham, Bournemouth and West Brom for the automatic promotion places who will miss out. Yeah, I mean, I had West Brom at the start of the season, Steve, as my pick to be in first place, because I just thought that Valerian Ismail would obviously get them kind of Barnsley Mark II, so to speak, and just really efficient in what they do. But obviously Fulham and Bournemouth are looking really good in the attacking sense. I still fancy West Brom, when you're getting into those colder winter months. They've probably got the defence to cope a little bit more. So we'll see. Maybe it will be Fulham and Bournemouth, but I still fancy West Brom to get in there. I think they will come good with what they've got. Let us know what you think, Rovers fans, in the comments whilst we wait for Dylan to come back. I think we've lost his Wi-Fi. And then Andre, just passing by. I have to leave now. Hopefully Rovers does well with our Chilean fella on the pitch. Best of luck. If you need any help with Spanish content, here we are. Brilliant. Thank you, Andre. We do need a resident Spanish speaker in the house, don't we? So there we go. Daniel, I'm at the game Wednesday. First time back since Morecambe, coming from Cumbria. Can't wait. I wasn't at that Morecambe game, Daniel, but I think you'll definitely enjoy the game on Wednesday. So, yeah, you enjoy that. We've got Dylan back now, I think. Here we go.
Yes, I'm back.
You are back.
I never thought that would work.
We lost you, so I was just chatting to the Rovers fans in the comments whilst we brought you back. So I don't know how much you heard of what I was saying, but basically I was just asking you about Mitrovic.
I didn't catch that. I
didn't catch any of it. So I'll do it all again, and you can obviously tell us what to be scared of. So, Mitrovic is central to obviously goals that you've scored. He's got 18 goals already this season. He is leading our man, Brereton Diaz, in second place on 12 goals in the championship charts this season. But he's comfortably your top scorer. He's looking absolutely deadly from, the highlights and things I've seen, some of the finishes. But he's probably one of those strikers that, might be too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League, because he has struggled when he's been there. But obviously this season he is looking deadly. So what stood out for you with him this season, and where do Rovers really need to watch out as far as he's concerned?
I'm going to be honest. I just think he's the best he's looked since he's joined us, and he's been honestly incredible since he joined it first in 2018. But this season, he just looks like he's taken his game to a completely different level. I mean, obviously the stats speak for themselves. 18 goals in 15 games is just ridiculous. I think if he continues on this path, he'll have over 50 by the time the season's finished. And Ivan Toney was the first guy to reach 30 for a while last season. I believe that's still the current record. As you can see there, he's got a goals per minute of or minute per goal of 8 minutes per goal of 88, which is just still a goal a game. It's just a joke.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks happy. He looks strong, and that's when he's at his best. Is when he's his happiest, and he just seems to be really enjoying his football at the moment, which is so great to see as a Fulham fan. I mean, I'm absolutely buzzing that we still managed to keep hold of him. I mean, after all this time, he's not left, which is slightly shocking, because I'm sure that there will be Premier League teams interested in him. I know he's sort of struggled in the Premier League, but I don't think he's ever really been to blame for that. I think at Newcastle, he'd just come to the country, and obviously it's a new language. And then, so obviously that was a bit difficult for him. And then at Fulham, the first time, he scored 11 goals in a season where we were just looking completely devoid of confidence as a team. So 11 goals then was impressive. And then last season, he just sort of was unfairly treated and dropped by Parker. So there's nothing there he can really do to improve his record when the manager doesn't want to play him. But I think also what goes unnoticed this season is the fact that he's got 18 goals, but then that's only half of our total for the season. So there's threat from all over the pitch, really. I mean, we've seen players such as Dennis Adoy, Rodrigo Muniz, a new Brazilian striker, still a bit of an unknown quantity, even to Fulham fans, I'd say. But he's been chipping in. Harry Wilson, Cabano, Decadova-Reid all got goals this season. So whilst Mitrovic is deservedly the standout threat and the player to be wary of, there is potential all over the team for goals, which is healthy.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've really enjoyed with Mitrovic, and hopefully not on Wednesday, is all the different finishes, because I think Mitrovic's reputation is he's obviously very good in the air and very strong, but I've seen some of those one-touch finishes, the swizzle finishes and the calm finishes. He just seems to have really developed that side of his game, and his age is something that surprises me as well, because he seems to have been around forever, but he's only, is he 27?
Yeah, he was 27 just in September. I think when we first signed him, he would have been 23. And that was a complete joke, because he looked way older than that. He's just physically just such a machine. But yeah, he's added sort of feels like he's added a different dimension to his game. I don't know if you saw our game against QPR, but the first goal he scored there, sort of on the half turn.
It's probably that one I was thinking, actually.
Yeah, he's just. I was surprised when he scored that, because he's never really struck me as the most agile of characters. He's sort of a poacher in the box, predator. But no, he seems to be developing that side of his game to great effect, and he seems to have sort of solved his penalty hoodoo as well. I don't think he's missed one since he sent Scotland to the Euros.
Of course, yeah, of course. So I'm just going to bring this up for the sake of Rovers fans that, Brereton Diaz on the left there, we're talking about Alexander Mitrovic, who, is running some really impressive numbers there and banging form. But, Diaz's stats there, he's not too far behind Mitrovic there. So, you know, we've got a man who's in form and obviously contributing a good percentage of our team goals as well. But, you know, as Dylan's highlighted, you know, Mitrovic, we are absolutely going to need to be watching him on Wednesday night. He's banging form, developed a new side to his game. So we're really going to have to watch out. And before we get on to your predicted 11 then, Dylan, away from home, you know, the form has been pretty decent for Fulham. You've got 5 wins in 7 league games this season, and you've scored 4 or more goals 3 times in those games, which is scary. So again, you're a side that can really hurt teams if you're given that chance. Rovers are a side, though, that we have only been beaten once at home this season. So how do you think Fulham will approach this game, and how are the fans feeling about it?
Well, I'd say with no disrespect, we've got to be confident. I mean, it'd be rude not to feel sort of confident going into the game. The form we've been in has been free-flowing, attacking. It's really good football, so we're just appreciating it whilst it's still here. I think, you know, nothing lasts forever, and especially in the Championship, you know, 2-3 bad results, and then the season can start to slide. But no, I'm confident. I mean, we've only lost twice away from home this season. That was against Coventry and Blackpool, the two promoted sides. So it really doesn't bode well for Peterborough on Saturday. But, no, it's weird actually, because I've been to 5 away games this season following Fulham, and they're the 5. I've seen 4 wins and 1 draw, and unfortunately, I can't make the game on Wednesday. So maybe that's good news for you. But no, it's been really good. I'm confident that we'll get something, whether that's a point or 3. I mean, I'd like 3, but you know, a point away from home in midweek up north is never a bad result, I don't think.
No, it'll be a good result for Fulham if you were to take anything. So as I say, we've largely been really good at home. But what I'm really interested to see is just playing a side which is that real notch above. Because when we did play West Brom earlier in the season, they did just look physically stronger, a little bit quicker. Their game plan with pressing the wing-backs forward really hurt us, and it was just another level. And Rovers didn't play bad in that game. You know, it was West Brom were very good. So I'm just really intrigued to see, you know, Fulham, a side that like possession, have lots of passes. Rovers, a side that are happy to give up possession. Just really interested to see, well, actually, could that come back and hurt us with a side which is lethal and obviously that attacking threat. So it's an intriguing game for me just to see Rovers really come up against that. So before we came live, Dylan, as we always do with our guests on the show, we get a predicted 11 from you. And you have given me that, if I just bring that up here, in a 4-2-3-1 system. So just talk us through this side, Dylan. You know, who's playing well, who might cause Rovers some problems, and just talk to us about that. Have I lost you? We may have lost Dylan again. His Wi-Fi is is definitely on the blink today, isn't it? So whilst we wait for Dylan, I'll flash up the image again for the benefit of Rovers fans. So this is the side that Dylan went for, with Rodak in goal. The back 4 of Tete, Mawson, Ream and Robinson. Yes, we've lost Dylan, so hopefully he will come back. Seri and Harrison Reed, who we were talking about earlier, as the 2 holders. And then obviously that really good 4 in those attacking positions. Harry Wilson, Carvalho, the young lad who's really come on this season, Naskins Cabano, and then Alexander Mitrovic. So Rovers fans, whilst we wait for Dylan to come back, let us know what you think about that Fulham side. Is there anyone that you're fearing? Is it all about Mitrovic for you, or are you looking at someone like Harry Wilson who's going to be a threat? Is Harrison Reed going to come back and bite us? Let us know what you think about that side. But certainly it's one that's looking quite good on paper, isn't it? Particularly, you know, with Seri and Reed in those 2 holding midfielder positions, you know, similar to what we've seen from Buckley and Travis with that press. They're going to be in and around us in that midfield area, not giving us any time on that ball, I'd suggest. So let us know what you think about that side. I'll just dip into the comments whilst I wait for other comments back from people. Yeah, it does wonders for this graphic as well, doesn't it? But yeah, Autumn, pretty good stats from Diaz, only 22. So let's go back to those stats as well. Let's get rid of the comments so we can see it. Yeah, 14 appearances, 12 goals. You know, that's good numbers from Diaz as well. And he's not far off a goal every game as well at 106 minutes. You know, that's not bad from him either, is it? And shooting accuracy really up from Diaz. 51% there. And then shots per goal, very comparable to Alexander Mitrovic. So, Mitrovic has obviously got the 6 more goals, but Diaz is running some impressive numbers there as well, as you say, Autumn. Let's just go back into the comments. Dylan's Wi-Fi is 56k. Now that is a blast from the past, isn't it, Steve? And then, the Ninja. Love the Ninja. Yeah, he was good for us, wasn't he, Autumn? He was very good. And then Steve, it's a long way to come for a midweek game. Not fair on away fans. Yeah, it is. I always struggle with going down to London midweek, actually, Steve. It's probably the worst one for me to get to because kind of driving's ruled out for me. So, you're reliant on the trains, which are an absolute fortune. So London's always a difficult one for me to get to. So it's not fair there. So I'm still reliant on Dylan. So I will ask Rovers fans now. Dylan will come and talk us through that side in a moment. I might as well have your score predictions whilst we wait for him to come back. Let us know what you think the score will be, how you think the game will go. Anyone that you're particularly fearing on Wednesday evening, let us know in those comments and I'll get them loaded and ready for when Dylan is back and he's gone through his side. In terms of me, as I say, this is a game that I'm fearing slightly just with some of the people that we've got missing from this side. If we have got doubts about Pickering and Ayala still, is Nyambi going to be playing with a potentially dodgy hamstring? Is John Buckley going to be taken out of that midfield area where Harrison Reed and Seri are going to be? That's just stuff that I worry about. But, we've got reasons to be, confident at home, haven't we? And, maybe if Fulham are attacking us, maybe if they are high up the pitch, maybe if they are pressing us, maybe we can get some of those counter-attacks going. Maybe we can get Dolan down the right-hand side. Maybe Joe Rothwell can be driving from deep. Maybe Brereton Diaz can be the one who gets the goal and not Mitrovic. But, I think it's going to be tough for Rovers. It's one of them heart and head moments. My head is saying a Fulham win because I just think that the sides coming down from the Premier League are strong, aren't they? And Fulham's attacking stats are really big there. But the heart is saying, actually, Rovers can dig in and at home and, midweek at Ewood Park in the Championship, we've not done too bad. So maybe we might get the draw. Who knows? But Dylan's still not reappeared. So we might be ending this stream soon. He says it's got to get his connection. So we'll give him a few more minutes and then I'm probably going to be ending the stream because we were close to the end anyway. Let's have a look at the score predictions that we've had. What we got here? 3-3. Now, that'll be a good one. That's one thing that we might see. We might see goals in this, just with both sides obviously being the attacking threats that we are this season. Owen, 2-1 Rovers. Why not? Steve, I think Fulham will have too much for us. Pretty much same as the West Brom game. 3-1 Fulham. Yeah, that's my head. That's the head part of me talking, Steve. It's the when we are against those sides which are just that notch above. Dizzy, 3-2 Fulham win. I can see a lot of logic with that, Dizzy. With obviously both of us liking goals and doing well in the goals this season. I can see a high-scoring game like that as well. Autumn's gone 2-2. Oh, yes, and Autumn, you've just reminded me. Dylan is back now. Have we got him back? Here he is.
Yes.
Hopefully, third time lucky. I was just getting some score predictions from them. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. You're a little bit quiet. Let me see if I can the volume somehow. That can't be all I've got. It might have to do.
Can you hear me? Yeah, is that all right? Hopefully this bodes well for Rovers if this is what Fulham are going to be rocking up like at Ewood Park. Can you hear us well?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Awesome. I was just running through the comments with the Rovers fans on the score predictions. So I'll just finish off the predictions. I'll let you run through your side and then we'll do our predictions, Dylan, and we'll end this stream. We will claw victory from the jaws of defeat on this stream. Don't you worry. Kev Bradshaw earlier on went for a 1-1. I think Fulham will be our toughest test. I agree with that, Kev. I think they will. we could push them and maybe nick something to going 1-1 is what Kev went for. Forest City, never thought I'd say this. Or Jared, we will miss Galley. 3-2 Fulham. And then Dizzy, yeah, he's calling you out. So Dizzy is one of our fans from down under, down in Tasmania, Dylan. You've been called out here. He's driving his car and his connection's better than yours. He's
Sorry
calling
about
you
that.
out. Well, I was just going to get you to talk through your side because I did a very hopeless job, Dylan, of doing that. Just talk us through that side. Who's going to cause us problems? You know, we've spoken about Mitrovic and Reed already, but, you know, who's in form? Who are Fulham going to be looking to out of this side?
I think Carvalho is the one to look out for. I mean, he's been out injured since the Hull game, which was our second home game of the season. I think 21st of August that was. So been a while. He made his sort of comeback against West Brom, but he was just amazing in those first few games of the season. For an academy product, he just provided a completely different outlet. I think he had 3 goals in his 5 starts or something like that. And yeah, he was just amazing. He's just like so silky on the ball, a great first touch, awareness, passing. He does seem to have it all. And I know he's been linked with some Premier League clubs and even places such as Barcelona and Real Madrid have moves of interest, but he's been really good. Obviously, Tete is another one coming back from injury. We signed him from Olympique Lyonnais last summer, so he was a Champions League right back at one stage in his career. Yeah, he's another one to look out for. Obviously, with Tosin's suspended, I think we might see Alfie Mawson come into the side. And there's been arguments for Adoy to go from right back to centre back, and then Tete to come in as Tosin's replacement. But I think it's time that we saw some of a return on Mawson's transfer fee. I think it was 15 million, and that's still yet to really be paid back. John McElsterry is another one who's just been outstanding this season. Obviously, he never really made the desired impact that when we first signed him we'd hoped he'd make, but he seems to be doing really well this season. Just looks a cut above sort of the rest of the league that we've faced so far, really. So they'd be my main ones to look out for.
Yeah, and Carvalho, as you say, 19 years old, and to be linked with clubs of that size, 3 goals already this season, and the 1 assist that I can see there. So, that's impressive. Championship's a tough division, particularly at 19 years old. So, class does rise to the top, doesn't it? If you are a good player. So interesting to see what happens with him. So, Dylan, before we end this stream, then, I'm going to push you for a score prediction, if you can. I hope you can hear me. We're pushing you for a score prediction.
Yep.
How do you think the game will go? What do you think the score will be?
I'm going to go for 2-1 Fulham, just because I'm positive, and I think Mitrovic will provide the goods again. That's what I'm hoping for. 2-1 Fulham. 2-1
Fulham. And before you, rejoined us, I was really trapped in a kind of head versus heart moment with Rovers. My head is saying, like that West Brom game, like what Steve was saying earlier, we're playing against a quality side that have got players banging form. That just feels like it'll be too much for Rovers. But my heart is saying, actually, we've seen Rovers dig in a lot this season and we've seen us raise to it, and maybe we can scrape a draw. So I think there'll be goals. It's kind of 2-2 or 2-1 Fulham. So I'm going to say 2-2. I'm going to back the boys, 2-2. I think there'll be goals in it. I think it'll be entertaining. But I don't think we'll get the win. I think that'll be too much. But fancy us to get the draw. So there we go. And I've been through the Rovers predictions, the fan predictions. Kind of a mixed bag. We've had some predicting losses, some predicting wins, and then a few draws in there as well. So I think Rovers fans are potentially trapped in that head and heart moment as well. So there we go. So that is it, Dylan. Apologies that your connection has failed.
No worries. I think because I'm at university, I think there's been an outage, so I've had to come out to get some signals to finish it off. But I'm glad we made it.
Well, thank you for persisting with it. And Rovers fans, thank you for persisting with us as well. We are reliant on the technology when we do these things. So thank you for staying with us in those comments and giving us your predictions. We will be back with our usual match day content on Wednesday, the instant reaction video, the watch along with Ollie Walker-Peel. And before that, the preview video, which I'm going to be recording with Alex Lomax a little bit later on. So catch those on the YouTube channel. Dylan, thank you for giving up your time. Thank you for sticking with us.
Mate. No, it was
really
great fun. Really enjoyed it.
No, thank you, mate. Thank you. And Rovers fans, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. And please give this video a big like for us. Give it a like for the sheer fact that we had fun and games with Dylan's Wi-Fi connection tonight. So why not, as Ben Brio would say. So there we go. I will leave you with our sponsor message from 6yardsout.com. Have a good evening, Dylan, and see you all later, Rovers fans. See you later.
Perfect. See you later.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.